Let's talk about another enterprise, but let's go to Europe. Earlier this week, Russia and the United States met in Saudi Arabia, started
Hmm.
having an open conversation about the Ukraine. It's opened a can of worms, a lot of recriminations, a lot of blame being passed upon Trump, Zelensky. And I would like to ask you what you think of this, what you make of it, and then I'll have some thoughts.
Yeah, curious what you think as well. I think that if you're gonna act as a third party coming in to help with a peace plan between two other parties, the way many presidents have done over the years, Teddy Roosevelt comes to mind. He won the Nobel Peace Prize for it when he helped Japan and Russia to a surrender in 19 something, oh five, I think. There's an opportunity here for Trump to be a statesman. What he's overlooking apparently is you can't be a third party coming in to help two other parties find a peace deal without inviting both of the other parties. It's just, you look silly doing it. You can come in and you can do some pre planning, but to have a formal engagement and not have Zelensky there at the table, that just sets up bad faith, and then it created this animosity between them. There was some back and forth. He called Zelensky a dictator and said it was Zelensky's fault that the war happened, even though everybody clearly remembers and knows that Russia is the one that came in and attacked a sovereign country. Now, how they were baited to do that, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We've all read lots of reports. But it seemed to me like it was a little disingenuous. What did you think?
I don't know if the Ukraine was invited to go and speak at this conference in Saudi Arabia. Someone that I know brought up the fact that hopefully the United States basically went into this first conversation with Russia and told them, listen, you're going to make an agreement with us. If you don't, we're going to do XYZ in terms of sanctions. That hasn't come out publicly. I don't know what took place behind closed doors in the meeting. Now, someone else brought up the point that this is being perceived in some other spheres that the friendly big brother has now turned into a bully. And this
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look so fantastic.
No.
And in Europe, they're clearly worrying about this. Vance made the speech in Munich, which raised a lot of eyebrows. Listen, Trump, as I've always said to you, is using the White House as a bully pulpit. He uses it to open a harsh opening statement and negotiate from there. He's doing that with Zelensky. He does it publicly. That's what people aren't used to. There's a lot of problems in Europe with the perspective that some governments aren't allowing people with different opinions to even write things on their social media. In the UK, for example, in Germany, for example, you can get in trouble for expressing an opinion. It's a dangerous thing
Yeah, it's starting to
because,
happen over here now too. There was a report about that yesterday.
yeah, but it happened in the States when Biden was president too. And when
No, now
Trump
there
was
was a.
president, okay, wait 1 second. Remember, I mean, Zuckerberg at Facebook admitted
Yep.
that he had received a lot of pressure from the Democrats to basically so-called fact check opinions that
That's true.
were not proven.
Well,
Okay,
it
that
was it was to be fair, was pressure from both sides, but mostly from the left, to make
mostly
sure
from the
that they
Democrats. Come on.
were overseeing anything that was race baiting or conspiracy theories and things like that, because they'd run
Well,
so far amok.
what they considered conspiracy thinking, especially regarding coronavirus and other things. Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't.
they
They were trying to
just
fight back against
censored
rumors and
things,
speculation and stuff like that, and
supposedly.
it was a mixed bag.
Very mixed bag. So, look, regarding the Ukraine and Russia, not to go down the rabbit hole about censorship here, I have problems with the way Trump is conducting this with Zelensky. I mean, suddenly we've gone from being on the side of the Ukraine openly to almost looking like we're against the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And that is problematic.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of countries say, wait a second, how did we have a sudden shift of policy here?
Right.
Now, Trump, I do believe, wants to stop the war. And I believe actually he's one person that can get that done. Sometimes he negotiates in a very loud manner, and we shall see what happens. I know that, for instance, over the last month, the Russian ruble has gotten stronger. It was about 110 against the US dollar. And the last time I looked, it's about 91 or so against the US dollar. So it's picked up a nice percentage change. That's based on the behavioral sentiment of people starting to think that sanctions will start to be lifted and the ruble might be accepted internationally again without sanctions. Now, the ruble's been trading, everyone knows that, quietly inside of banks in Europe, particularly in offshore banks, but it's definitely picked up steam over the last month. And that tells you that the behavioral sentiment of the financial institutions is betting on their midterm outlook. They think that maybe there won't be peace in the next 6 months, but that the negotiations are going to start and we're going to see improvement. What's also interesting to me is the mineral rights. Suddenly, Trump and his administration are talking about mineral rights in the Ukraine. They've been pushing the Ukraine to make a deal.
Yeah.
Now, that I would like your opinion on because there's a person, Musk, who has a need for rare earth minerals, lithium, things like that. Why? Because of the technologies he has.
Yeah. So my feeling is the first time that, if you think back, the first time that Trump got impeached, the first time, one in a series, it was because he was trying to strong arm Zelensky, whether that's coincidental or not. And there was money that was already allocated by Congress at the time, something like $300 million or something. This is before Russia invaded, but it was to help strengthen their military. I think he said, and then Trump came in and he said, well, this money's already been allocated to you, but you can't have it unless we get this. And so that drove Congress crazy. And that was before they sort of got used to this kind of, if you want to call it negotiation or strong armsmanship, whatever you want to call it. I'm only mentioning this for context because where we are now is he's doing similar behavior. So he has that back history with Zelensky already. We don't know what their relationship's like, but I'm sure it's not warm and fuzzy. Now he's got an envoy over there saying, supposedly, according to some speculation or some reporting rather, that he said, here, we have a deal. We want rare earth elements. We want to make a deal with you. Take it or leave it. This is going to factor into helping us negotiate peace on your behalf. So it's a little bit of that strong arm tactic kind of thing. I mean,
I
you can
agree with
say
you on that.
it's just deal making or whatever, but when you look at their past history together, it kind of provides an interesting background or context.
No
So I
doubt.
don't know. I guess we're going to have to find out what all this entails and how it'll shake out.
I agree that that's probably
And
wrong to be
what are
doing
the
in public.
implications for
Doesn't look
countries
good.
that,
And
yeah,
again,
that
that
goes
goes
back
back
to
to the so-called big brother looking like a bully all of a
yeah,
sudden.
exactly.